Phil.
A long time ago, these were the first words I heard to a speech about 3 months ago. And from this, I learned that Dr. Venditti is very misleading on many of his example speeches. Something that I've come to notice is humorous in some ways and kind of aggravating in others because you don't know what's going to happen next. But then that's something I've been working on because it gets a speech going. And I was hoping that through this speech, maybe I could be mysterious. And so if I've done that so far, does anyone have a guess as to what my speech is going to be on?
Your portfolio.
What about my portfolio?
What's inside it?
Does anyone have it, from the list we received, does anyone have an idea of what I might do it on besides?
Humor.
Nope.
Your readings.
All right. Anyway, I think I got it. So I want to do what I've learned throughout this quarter.
Oh, I should have guessed.
And I learned this quarter that you don't always have to, when you're looking up a topic, to find the specific information on what you're doing. You can use like a layer method to find other examples. Another thing is staying within your time frame, and then a little bit about Jessica Alba's car.
Cool.
And so the layer method I'd like to say is something I learned where at the beginning on our second speech, we were looking up stuff for our demonstrations. And I said, well, I can't find anything on skateboarding because it's not something maybe ProQuest will have on some sort of topic like that. And then Venditti showed me that, well, it doesn't have to be on skateboarding. It could be about people who skateboarded or statistics of skateboarding or even another topic, like if you had a chocolate mousse cake, you can talk about how to make chocolate or how to make the mousse or whatever the mousse stands for. And then also for ProQuest, it isn't just going there and looking up a thing and finding, just copying down your information, putting it in your sources just to kind of say I did the work, it's done, whatever. Also, I've noticed that some of the topics are actually very interesting. I was reading through, and on many of my speeches I've gone through and listed or stated something from a ProQuest site that I found. I just wanted to say that, but my second part is staying within your time frame. It's very important because you don't want to lead people on and say, oh, we're going to be here for 10 minutes, and then 30 minutes later you finish. Because maybe they have previous obligations, they're trying to get somewhere to go, they just don't like your voice in general, and they want you to finish. So also staying not under your time, you want to be coming in the middle. When you come too short, it may feel like someone feels that they were cheated out of something. Maybe they paid for a speech, or if you go to a boxing fight, where I gave my second demonstration, you don't want to pay $100 for a front row seat and get a first round knockout. It may be exciting. Well, people in the ring may be like, all right, it's done. But then if you're sitting there, you're like, I just paid $100 for 10 seconds of entertainment, which isn't the whole point of it. So staying within your time frame, going from the minimum amount of time to up to the top, but not going too far, and keeping it as a fluent type of speech. Lastly, I was going to say, I learned a bit about Jessica Alba's car, and tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them. And that was, a bit more challenging than I noticed that throughout this, when I first heard about this in the first or second day we came here, I've given a few other speeches at my youth group and in my class and for aviation. And I've tried to put this to effect, and usually it works better. And I also noticed that when I went to my 3 live speeches and I critiqued the 3 past speeches, many of them would say what they were going to say before they actually did it. So this worked out, and it is a funny analogy I'll probably remember for a while, if not the rest of my life, about Jessica Alba. I'm going somewhere. And I'd like to continue on about my portfolio itself. I was pretty pleased with it, except for a few parts that weren't able to be here on some circumstantial times. But humor has got to be something that everybody enjoys. And for mine, I have. You probably can't read that, but we can. How do we zoom this?
It's on the white
On the left side.
projector on the
The
top.
little nubbin on the side,
So
other
the other
side.
On
Nubbin.
left-
Oh, got it.
Nubbin.
Zoom in.
The nubbin.
Still can't read.
Can you read that?
About
Hit
6
the
months
nubbin
ago,
a
I
little.
was with my friends Josh, Cameron, and Brendan.
There you go.
There you go.
That better? Alright, so you can follow along. But I was gonna say about 6 months ago or something like that, we were at my friend Josh's house, and he has this large water slide that goes down probably 20, 30 feet. It's pretty big. It goes up this big like rock wall, and then comes down into his pool. And so we had a little party get together there, and we invited a couple girls. So he was trying to show off like a macho man, trying to be the big shot. And he goes up to the slide after we're all just screwing around. He grabs the boogie board and decides, well, watch this. Jumps in head first and just flies down this, and he's just flying because he cleared across. When he hit the water, he cleared across the entire pool, which is probably another 20 feet long. And so it was a big tidal wave, and he got out and he turned around. And he was like, "Yeah, but the water pressure, because the big slam, he didn't feel it.
Took his
And
pants
just
off.
pants are gone." He's just standing there. And he's ready to go up again. He realizes that there's a breeze going by. And who here has seen Seinfeld? Anybody watch
I've
Seinfeld?
seen it.
From a long time ago. There's a one guy, and so shrinkage happened. that was one story I remember.
Oh wow.
The second one,
Were there girls there?
oh yes.
Oh wow.
Well, he's currently dating one still. I don't know if that influenced the situation or not. Alright. You agree with the second one?
Oh, didn't.
Over.
There we go. And then again, it was about, I don't know, I'd say 3 to 4 years ago, and down in California, my family were coming back from Six Flags in California. Like, we had never been there. We lived there for like 4 years, and like, let's go to Six Flags. So on the way back, we're coming down, and we're around a corner where it stopped at a park or a red light, and then around the corner, we just hear a big bang, and it's just a crash over here, and we're just like, all right, something happened. We're waiting, nothing's happening. And I'd say about 10 or 15 little raccoons ran across the street. And then, so after that, we're like, all right, this is interesting. This is in Southern California, so we're sitting here thinking, all right, we know what's going on. And then about 20 seconds later, here comes the van, just empty, rolling down the street. And it was interesting to us because we're like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's just kind of like, those are the things that happen, but something that you don't really think about every day because it doesn't affect you. And it's something that are just humorous in
You
your
don't
life.
see it all the time
Mhm.
either. You don't see like empty van just like rolling right by you.
It was interesting. For a crash, you usually want to investigate, see what happened. Usually you're out of the car yelling, it's your fault, it's not me, you hit me from behind. And so, I mean, they were just gone. It was empty. And then, another part,
So maybe
Oh,
they
they-
jumped out of someone put a guy in trouble.
yes. I won't put the speech up there because it's got a long on it, but they say, I also enjoyed watching my speech recording because it showed that, I mean, I noticed some of the things that everybody was saying. Usually just stand there, I cross my legs a lot, and I need to do more motions and movements and all of those types of things. So I watched one speech and I noticed I did do that, and I did say "and" a lot as well, through some of them, and I've been trying to cut some of them out, but it's working maybe to some extent. And in closing, I'd like to say that I've had a fun time here, and I've learned several things about using your time wisely, Jessica Alba's car, and using the layer method, finding just random information. And this whole class just started from having an empty seat in here, and my math class was full.